Hari Om. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishthaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. We shall offer our prayers to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Today's topic I have chosen: who is our friend, philosopher and guide? God has created this world. Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, world is not apart from God. It cannot exist without God. So, the very existence of the world means the presence of God. Just as rays cannot exist without sun. When the rays are there, sun must be there. When the sun is there, rays are there. It's as simple as that. So the world cannot exist without God. That means it is not apart from God. So world is the field of action. Sri Ramakrishna says, world is provided for the game. It is a game field, sports field. World is a sports field. All of us are playing in one way or other. Some are playing nicely, some are learning to play, some are not playing at all very well. So, all these success and failures are constantly going on in this field of action. But everything has got a definite rule and everything goes on with certain discipline. Ritam, they say in Sanskrit, ritam. So the law and order has been established by God when the world is created. So everything is set in proper position. And everything has got to go in a definite way. They can't simply change their movements and their activities. For example, so many planets are there in the cosmos. How they are all moving? They are moving in their own orbit. Innumerable planets are there in the cosmos, but everything is going on with definiteness. There is no clash. If there is any disturbance in following definite rules and discipline, then there will be chaos and disastrous effect will be there. So, God has given this forum, world forum, for us to learn to live in a spiritual way. World is not meant for you to live in any other manner. So, if you study the movement of the world, you will definitely learn how God is behind every moment of the world. But we should have that learning attitude. That's why Sri Ramakrishna emphatically said, as long as I live, so long do I learn. It's a beautiful statement. If you have that learning attitude, you will never be egoistic. The more you learn, the more you have to learn. Learning is inexhaustible. Only Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. One who knows Brahman becomes Brahman himself. So when you have the realization of Brahman, then your knowledge is complete. Purna Jnana. Till then you don't have Purna Jnana, half and half. Some kind of glimpse of the spiritual knowledge. The real spiritual knowledge one attains by realizing Brahman. So that means one has to follow discipline. That is the theme. You can't simply go in a chaotic way. You can't simply go in a indisciplined way. You have to be disciplined. So discipline is foremost step, very important step in spiritual life. Spiritual life starts with discipline. People may talk many things about spirituality, but if there is no discipline, they're all only empty talks. So Sri Ramakrishna always points out to us that we should be disciplined and focused on the ideal. The ideal of human life is to realize the truth, to realize God. God is truth. To realize your true self. The true self is God himself. So, this human system has been given to us so that we can realize the divine. So a member of a society has to obey the rules and regulations of the society. These are formulated for the well-being of the society. After all, what is this society? It consists of individuals, and any progress or development of the society is reflected back to the component, the individual. Each individual is responsible for the welfare or otherwise of the world. They are all part and parcel of this world. The individual must know the rules and regulations, customs, manners and traditions of the community to which he belongs. Knowing properly, that's important. Abiding by the laws of the society, he will be able to lead a successful life, contributing his bit for the progress of the society. In fact, in the tradition it is mentioned that everybody has to act properly according to dharma and earn sufficiently. And then after earning, you have to use it properly the earnings. So they even tell us how to do that. You must divide your earnings for using in different ways. One is towards family, one is towards the society or the country, and one is towards animals, and one is towards service of the community. So whatever a person earns, according to his earning, he has to divide. So in a methodic way, one should use the earnings. So thereby you are contributing your own little contribution for the well-being of the society. So man is a member of the society called nature. Nature. Nature is God. God is present in the form of nature. He is present in the form of sun, moon, stars. He is present in the form of water, fire. So all these Panchamahabhutas, the whole cosmic creation is the form of God. Vishwarupa, Vishvatma, Paramatma. So man is part and parcel of nature, just like any other being. For a healthy and successful life, he has to obey the laws of nature. For this, he has to make a study of nature and its laws. The biggest thing in nature is the cosmos. What happens there? The heavenly bodies are always active, and that too incessantly and so systematically, as if governed by a fixed law. The planets revolve around the sun in particular orbits at definite speeds, displaying marvelous coordination and cooperation between them. So too, in the smallest thing, the atom, there is a nucleus around which the electrons orbit continuously. The heart also beats non-stop from birth to death. Thus, the whole of nature is always engaged in action. Bhagavan Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma kriti. No one can remain, even for a moment, without action. Action is life. Inaction is death. So one has to be active. It is through action only you can perfect yourself. It is through action you can realize the truth. But you have to act properly. That's the point. Laziness is against nature. In Hindi there is a saying, Aram haram hai. Inactivity is dangerous. In English, they say work is worship. An idle brain is a devil's workshop. If a person is idle but has no work, unwanted thoughts emanate from his mind and propel him to undesirable activities. Mind and intellect become dull and stagnant if they are not activated properly. Complete inertia and inactivity bring about physical debility and intellectual deterioration. So action plays a very important role in everyone's life. A rolling stone gathers no mass. A moving part seldom accumulates any dirt on it. Likewise, an active individual is free from accumulation of vasanas or mental impressions, and thus gets rid of attachments. No unwanted thought will come up in his mind and drive him into undesirable and harmful activities. An example is given. A knife, if used regularly, will shine and remain sharp and be fit for use. A river, for example, if it flows, contains fresh water, but stagnant water will be a menace to neighbors. Thus, action is a must. By being active, man attains a healthy body, his internal organs get strengthened, the mind gets cleaner, the intelligence becomes sharper, and power of discrimination increases. Then only you will have the capacity to grasp and assimilate the spiritual ideas and the strength to live a spiritual life. You have to become strong. You don't have to worry. Worriness will not make you strong. It makes you more weak. Take all steps required to become strong. That's the point. So nature's activities are actions without desire for result. There is a term called Nishkam Karma. Lord Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Swami Vivekananda also has mentioned Nishkam Karma. In Karma Yoga, it has got great lesson for us. To be spiritual means you have to be engaged in selfless service. Take for example the mother, ideal example. She conceives the child, takes all the trouble of bearing the child in the womb, suffers the pangs of delivery, feeds it with her own milk, takes care of it like an invaluable jewel, a gift from God, and brings it up with great care, devotion and affection. Her whole mind is focused on the child. Whole mind, whole system is focused. In fact, the child is more than her life to the mother. She sacrifices anything and everything for her child without any expectation of any return from the child. Her only concern is the child should be cheerful and happy. That's all her concern. The mother is the first karma yogin. Ideal example of karma yogin, mother. There is also a sort of cooperation and coordination in the activities of nature. These tend to keep up the equilibrium, a sort of harmony, a resonance. The sun and its various planets attract one another and maintain distinct orbits. The different systems in the human body, like the digestive, the respiratory, the nervous, etc., they cooperate and keep the body normal and healthy. According to Ayurveda, there are 3 doshas in the human body. Dosha, impurities. What are they? Any disturbance in their balance throws the body into disease. Disturbance in any equilibrium is set right by nature itself. For example, if a high pressure of air is developed in one place, a wind blows from there to a low pressure area. The wind ceases as soon as the pressures at both places are equal. Water flows from a higher level to a lower level till the levels are equalized. Electric current flows from a higher potential to a lower potential and stops when the potential difference is no more. All these illustrate the fact that there is a tendency to restore equilibrium. The whole universe is one of perfect balance, says Swami Vivekananda. Also we find that there is a cyclic chain of cooperative action taking place in nature. Water is converted into vapors by sun's heat. These vapors rise up in the atmosphere and form clouds. The clouds descend to give us rain. The rainwater again gets converted into vapor, and so on. The cycle is repeated. The quantity of water on the earth is maintained and conserved. In the same way, the quantity of oxygen and nitrogen are also replenished to appropriate levels by the plants and animals. This type of cosmic wheel of cooperative action is indicated by Bhagavan Shri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhavaha yajnad bhavati parjanyo yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. Again, a sense of discipline is exhibited in nature. It's a common sight that ants move in rows one behind another in a perfectly orderly fashion and do their work. A herd of elephants move in the forest with their leader, a strong tusker, in the front, and all the members of the herd obey his commands implicitly. Such also is the case of flocks of birds like cranes. Very seldom we find animals of the same species fighting against one another and annihilating themselves. They have a capacity for forbearance. In case of danger, all the animals of the species unitedly fight the enemy or escape from danger. So we find that nature exhibits a sense of discipline, action without expectation of fruit thereof, a cooperative effort, a sort of harmony, and a tendency for peace. The ancient science of Ayurveda is based on the principle that cures for diseases lie hidden in plants which grow with man and in minerals and animals that surround him. Many diseases, even malignant ones, are being cured fully by naturopathy and yogic exercises. Hence it is advisable for man to obey the laws of nature and live in harmony with nature. Instead, man is trying to go against nature and to change his surroundings to suit his whims and fancies. Every creation in nature has a purpose, a function of its own. Ignorant of this, man acts and disturbs the equilibrium of nature. Frogs from the paddy fields of Kerala in India, they are caught and their flesh is exported to earn foreign exchange. It is a very lucrative business, but it has led to an imbalance in nature. The absence of frogs has increased the pests in paddy fields and the crops perish. Of late, we hear about the Silent Valley project in Kerala to harness hydroelectric power at the risk of disturbing the ecological balance. This will have a very bad effect on the climate of the region, which may lead to serious consequences. So man has to move in harmony with his surroundings, and he should cultivate discipline, cooperation and coordination in order to be successful. All activities of man are planned and executed according to his internal nature. This is the motive force that whips him up to action. Unless the electric supply is steady, non-fluctuating, the electrical equipment, however marvelous it may be in its design and manufacture, will not work efficiently. Likewise, unsteadiness in one's internal nature will lead to follies and futilities. It is out of inner victory that there results outer conquest. Inner impoverishment will not lead to external enrichment. Yamatis sagatir bhaved. Change the subject and the object is bound to change. The ancient sage Charaka, the first and the foremost authority in Indian medicine, he said, Irshya mana bhaya krodha lobha moha mad brahmaha tajjam yak karma yat klishtam yat deha karma cha. The causes of disease of the gross human body, the Maharshi says, what are the causes? Envy, pride, fear, anger, greed, folly, arrogance, delusion, or injurious acts emanating from these. Even modern medical practitioners attribute the cause of hypertension, peptic ulcer, etc. to mental worries. From these it is evident that one has to adjust his internal nature before he moves out to the external nature. It is a common experience that when a man is prompted to any undesirable action, an inner voice warns him against it. In this condition, two forces are fighting with each other in him. One from the mind propelled by desire, passion, sense gratification, etc., and the other, the internal voice, originating from the inner core of man, spontaneously and uncaused, the witness of the mind, the conscience, manasakshi. Mostly the former subdues the latter and man is forced to act. But immediately after the activity, he feels sorry and even repents. This internal conflict makes him confused and leads him to thoughts which are agitated, faltering, and uncertain. If the action is guided by the former, it may lead to disappointment and even failure. But if one's action is in harmony, in unison with the song of the soul, there is peace and happiness, as the mind is steady and at peace. In such cases, there is no disappointment or repentance. To act according to one's own conscience, to obey the dictates of the internal voice, is what is called self-discipline or self-control. In this case, the internal voice predominates and suppresses the forces emanating from passion, pride, arrogance, desire, lust, greed, envy, fear, hatred, vindictiveness, etc. Self-discipline is seldom attempted, since its practice is painful and repellent in the early stages. On the other hand, yielding to desire is at first sweet and soothing, but self-discipline leads one to self-confidence and self-reliance, which are essential and valuable assets for leading a happy, successful, and fruitful worldly life. Man doesn't live until he begins to discipline himself. He merely exists. He never reflects on the values of life and leads a life of sensations, longings, and confused ideas. He will not have any peace as he is tossed about in his surroundings without an aim or goal, nor will he be able to get away from the clutches of different forces pulling him hither and thither. One whose inner life is so ungoverned and chaotic naturally manifests this confusion in his outer worldly activities. In due course, worldly failure and disaster court him due to the inward failure to properly adjust and regulate the mental forces which shape the outer life. Man should acquire the courage to renounce the low appetites, clinging attachments, and consequent foul motives gurgling from within. Crookedness in thoughts, emotions, and general conduct has a self-destructive influence on our personality. Actions belying one's own true intentions and motives, convictions, realizations, and discriminations would result in the crookedness of one's personality. He who is indulging in this way of life would thereby develop in himself a split personality and will soon lose the glow of effectiveness and be impoverished in the powers of personal grit. A subjectively shattered personality cannot find peace or fulfillment in any situation. Internal impoverishment will not lead to external enrichment. Swami Vivekananda said in his complete works, power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come when this sleeping soul is roused to self-conscious activity. With the practice of self-discipline, a man begins to live for he slowly rises above the inward confusion and adjusts his conduct to a steadfast center within himself. He ceases to follow where inclination leads him and lives according to the dictates of reason and wisdom. He is able to control those passions which have hitherto controlled him. He resists temptation and guards himself against all those tendencies to self-gratification which are so easy and natural and which formerly dominated him. Usually we find that a man who doubts others and has no confidence in others may not be able to do anything successfully. This lack of confidence in others is because he has no self-confidence. Self-control develops self-confidence and in turn self-reliance. Swami Vivekananda said, if you have faith in the 330 millions of your mythological gods and still have no faith in yourselves, there is no salvation for you. Have faith in yourselves and stand up upon that faith. Believe first in yourself and then in God. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Shraddha is very important. In this context, it is worthwhile recalling the advice given to King Janak by his guru Maharshi Ashtavakra as a first step for self-culture or self-development. Kshamarjava daya tosha satyam piyushavat bhajat. Seek forgiveness, straightforwardness, kindness, cheerfulness and truth. Thus we find that nature, external and internal, is the best friend, philosopher and guide of man. If he lives in harmony, in unison with his internal and external nature, his life will be a great success. So, we have to follow discipline and we have to always remember the whole thing is governed according to definite laws by the Divine Supreme. So we should know our duties and responsibilities to fulfill our spiritual aspiration. We must work towards realization of the truth. Otherwise the opportunity given is lost. Once again we have to be born and again you have to struggle. So, discipline we must have, most important in spiritual life. And God is present to us in the form of the world and we should conduct ourselves in a humble way, carrying our activities as much as possible in a selfless way. So that's the way to success in life. So nature is our friend, philosopher and guide. We must have that attitude of learning and sincere in our pursuit of spiritual life. Then everything becomes okay. Page 884. Master said, bravo, that's grand. Holy men should feed other creatures. They feed ants with sugar. Doctor said, will there be no singing today? Master said to Narendra, why don't you sing a little? Narendra sang to the accompaniment of the tanpura and other instruments. Sweet is thy name, O refuge of the humble. It falls like sweetest nectar on in our ears and comforts us, beloved of our souls. The priceless treasure of thy name alone is the abode of immortality. And he who chants thy name becomes immortal, falling upon our ears. Thy holy name instantly slays the anguish of our hearts, thou soul of our souls, and fills our hearts with bliss. Narendra sang again, O mother, make me mad with thy love. What need have I of knowledge or reason? Make me drunk with thy love's wine, O thou who stillest thy bhaktas' hearts. Drown me deep in the sea of thy love. Here in this world, this madhouse of thine, some laugh, some weep, some dance for joy. Jesus, Buddha, Moses, Gauranga, all are drunk with the wine of thy love. O mother, when shall I be blessed by joining their blissful company? A strange transformation came over the devotees. They all became mad, as it were, with divine ecstasy. The Pandit stood up, forgetting the pride of his scholarship, and cried, O mother, make me mad with thy love. What need I have of knowledge or reason? Vijay was the first on his feet, carried away by divine intoxication. Then Sri Ramakrishna stood up, forgetting all about his painful and fatal illness. The doctor who had been sitting in front of him also stood up. Both patient and the physician forgot themselves in the spell created by Narendra's music. The younger Narain and Latu went into deep samadhi. The atmosphere of the room became electric. Everyone felt the presence of God. Dr. Sarkar, eminent scientist that he was, stood breathless, watching this strange scene. He noticed that the devotees who had gone into samadhi were utterly unconscious of the outer world. All were motionless and transfixed. After a while, as they came down a little to the plane of the relative world, some laughed and some wept. An outsider entering the room would have thought that a number of drunkards were assembled there. A little later, Sri Ramakrishna resumed his conversation, the devotees taking their seats. It was about 8 o'clock in the evening. Master said, you have just noticed the effect of divine ecstasy. What does your science say about that? Do you think it's a mere hoax? Doctor said to the master, I must say that this is all natural when so many people have experienced it. It can't be a hoax. To Narendra, he said, when you sang the lines, O mother, make me mad with thy love, what need have I of knowledge or reason? I could hardly control myself. I was about to jump to my feet. With great difficulty, I suppressed my emotion. I said to myself, no, I must not display my feelings. Master said with a smile to the doctor, you are unshakable and motionless like Mount Sumeru. You are very deep soul. Nobody could perceive the deep emotion of Rupa and Sanatana. If an elephant enters a small pool, there is splashing of water on all sides. But this doesn't happen when it plunges into a big lake. Hardly anyone notices it. Radha once said to her companion, friend, you are weeping so much at our separation from Sri Krishna. But look at me. How stony my heart is. There is not a tear in my eyes. Brinde, her friend, replied, yes, your eyes are dry, but there is a deep meaning in it. A fire of grief is constantly raging in your heart because of your separation from Krishna. No sooner do the tears gather in your eyes than they are dried up in the heat of that fire. Doctor said, nobody can beat you in talk. Referring to Sri Ramakrishna, he said, laughter. The conversation turned to other things. Sri Ramakrishna described to the doctor his ecstasies at Dakshineshwar. He also told him how to control anger, lust, and the other passions. Doctor said, I have heard this story that you were once lying on the ground unconscious in samadhi when a wicked man kicked you with his boots. Master said, you must have heard it from M. The man was Chandra Haldar, a priest of the Kali temple at Kali Ghat. He often came to Madhur Babu's house. One day I was lying on the ground in an ecstatic mood. The room was dark. Chandra Haldar thought I was feigning that state in order to win Mathur's favor. He entered the room and kicked me several times with his boots. Haldar kicking Sri Ramakrishna. It left black marks on my body. Everybody wanted to tell Mathur Babu, everybody wanted to tell Mathur Babu about it, but I forbade them. The actor said, "This is all due to the will of God. Thus you have taught people how to control anger and practice forgiveness." In the meantime, Vijay had become engaged in conversation with the other devotees. Vijaya said, "I feel as if someone were always moving with me. He shows me what is happening even at a distance." Narendra said, "Like a guardian angel." Vijay, "I have seen him," meaning the master. "I have seen him in Dhaka. I even touched his body." Master said with a smile, "It must have been someone else." Narendra said, "I too have seen him many times." To Vijay he said, "How can I say I do not believe your words?" That completes this chapter. The next class will begin chapter 47, Master's Training of His Disciples. So, Friend-Philosopher-Guide, everything is available. Only our mind is not ready. So, we are in trouble or some kind of restlessness. We have to recognize the glory of God and tune the mind in that direction. Everything will become okay. Any questions or comments? Nothing. All right. So let us try to participate in all these activities and train ourselves properly. Become more and more selfless and charitable. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrated at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stirrest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all the joys everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, The whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied. The whole universe feels satisfied.